Hello, I'm Gigi. I work for Printique, and I'm here with RJ, and he's going to take us through some of his amazing 360 photography work.
So we got this awesome book bound here at Printique, which I'm excited to kind of go through. It's the first time I'm seeing it. And let's take a look, and I'll tell you a little bit about some of these photos. So the first one here is, the benefit of 360 photos is you can kind of make them into whatever you want. So it starts as a sphere. And if I bend the sphere one way, imagine a panorama, and you bend it one way, you can pull the sky around the outside. And if you bend it the other way, you can pull the earth around the outside and put the sky into the middle. So these two are actually from the same photograph. That was definitely
I do want to know a little bit more about
Sure.
inversion versus this. I don't know whether to call it an outversion, but you
call this a tiny planet, and some people call this a rabbit hole. I call them inverted or inversions.
And how do you get the inverted shot versus the? You kind of explained the panorama.
Yeah. So when I take the shot, I use a camera like this, and it's got lenses on both sides. So simultaneously, it takes a snapshot of everything around me all at the same time. So I hold the camera above my head, and it gives me everything. The only real photoshopping I do is to take myself out. Otherwise, I'd be in every shot, usually looking up and making a stupid face at the camera. But yeah, so it starts out as a sphere, right? And since it's a digital sphere, imagine a snow globe with the image on the outside, right? And then if you started to roll that in on itself, the image would start to move around, right? So as you roll that around, at a certain point, the sky would be on the outside, and you would have this tiny planet effect. And if you keep rolling it or bending it, then you keep going, and it moves everything in the opposite direction. So, what was up is down, what was out is in. So this is Coney Island, and this was actually the shot that kind of got me into my first art fair and my first publication. People saw this and they were like, "We like that. Show us more." And so I started trying to show more. It's funny. This one gives me anxiety.
Yes, it feels like everything's
right. Yeah, exactly.
The breath that this one has.
Yes, and this one is like, I'm always in my own little world. That's what this feels like to me. I tend to feel much more comfortable and at home with the tiny planet stuff. Some people really resonate with the inversions more. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes they work really well as a tiny planet and don't look good at all inverted. And so you play around. Sometimes I love the inversions and hate the way the tiny planet look. Sometimes they just don't fit into frame anymore when you do that, or you get these weird clunky buildings that are a part of it. But we'll see more of that. What do we got next? I don't even know what's on the next page now.
Let's see.
The Brooklyn Bridge.
Perfect. Well, that's actually perfect because we are in Brooklyn, where everything, including this book, is printed.
Yes. Yeah, we're so I've been living down the road from this facility for 20 plus years. Yeah, since 02. So yeah, 12. Well, whatever the math is on that. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that RJ was literally pretty much down the street. He was a neighbor of South Slope at the Printique lab, and then he came in. And we were like, oh my gosh, you also have been working with us for so long, printing with us, and you are a resident of South Slope. So it's perfect. It's in Brooklyn. And then we asked him to kindly do some Brooklyn shots as well, which he did provide. And then this is specifically, you said, the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yes. So 3 of the 4 photos here are from the day we got hit with the Canadian wildfire smoke a couple years back. So if you see the orange that's around the cityscapes, that was that sepia tone smoke that the entire city was just enveloped in. And as it blew out of Brooklyn, I followed it across the bridge, A, because I was just happy to be able to go outside again, but B, it was just kind of stunning looking. And if you see at the top here, it was a really cloudy day, and so when the sun was setting, it dropped below the clouds and burned through the smoke, and it ended up just looking really pretty. More from the bridge. So this is taken from the Manhattan Bridge on a different night. I do these runs with a running club out of Orchard Street called Orchard Street Runners, and they'll do runs from Orchard out to Red Hook and back. And within 5 minutes, everybody is out of my sight because I'm the slowest one in the group. And so I just stop and take pictures.
You take the opportunity.
Oh yeah, it's
wanted to be a part of this anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm never gonna win. I don't even pretend to do that. So it's just a good reason to show up and get some fun shots. But these are, again, are a good example of how you can get multiple images out of a single shot. So these are all the same photograph, even the one with me stuck in it. So here's an example of me, you know, like this is me taking the picture, right? Like that's what a lot of it is. And I'm dressed for my run like an idiot. Looking down at the, or over at the Brooklyn Bridge. So you see that in the background here. Then you got the lower Manhattan skyline and everything burning off.
I love this rainbow it kind of created here.
Yeah. And that's, you can see, it's the exact same image.
Yeah, but
right?
it's like not at the same time.
Right.
It's so not, because the perspective change, and you feel like you're looking at it from so, like, I didn't even notice for a second that these are the same build. It just feels so different.
And so this is the top of that also. So you can imagine, right? So this part is down here, right? So you can imagine if you're rolling that through, starts here, you keep rolling it, this starts to come around, this goes up to the outside, and then you end up here, right? So this, you can kind of see the juxtaposition. So I work with an app called Artivive, it's an augmented reality app. I come from the nerdy camera building side of this, so I happen to know nerdy people who make pretty cool apps that go along with it. What the app allows me to do is it allows me to connect my image with a piece of media on the back end. So almost like the image is acting like a QR code. And so when you aim the app to scan the image, it will bring up that little piece of media. And so I use an AI program called Kling AI, and what that can do is I take the image, I put it in there, and I tell it to make the leaves blow around in a circle around the tree or something to that effect, give it a couple of cues and prompts, and then it churns something out for me. So what I've been able to do is use my floral pictures with that, and there have been some pretty interesting effects. The magnolia tree does a really nice job, just kind of like dusting them up and moving the leaves around. So one of the first things I take out is my Insta360. This is the new X5, which is shockingly good in low light and kind of enabled me to not bring my other cameras out with me. But I love this thing. It has been a godsend for me. So that's the first one. And it's got these nice half-inch sensors on both sides, which is great. But when I really started doing this, the two that really got me excited about it were, well, this was an Insta360, or it is an Insta360 that's a partnership with Leica, and it's got these two big 1-inch lenses, sensors on them, and it just eats up the light. And so you can take pictures in the dark with it, and it's just stunning. They don't make them anymore, so if you see it, grab one, hold on to it, and be careful because they break. And then the other one is kind of one of their more traditional action cameras, the X3. They're super cheap at this point, but if you're taking pictures in the daytime, they're fantastic. So bright light, this is really all you need. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. Then I run around and I hold this above my head and I snap the photo, and then I play with it on the back end and turn it into tiny planets.
Looking at your work, when I've seen it at fairs, when I've seen it up on walls, when I saw it for the first time, the thing that I was most curious about is why and how do you scout these locations, and how do you kind of decide what would be good for the kind of like panoramic tiny planet works? So I want to go into this one first about what made you decide this was like a good space to scout.
So this one in particular is, well, I mean, it's the Brooklyn Bridge, right? So it's iconic in every sense of the word. I mean, you know, it's the thing people think of when they think of New York, or one of them.
It's the tourist location.
Yes, right. And so a lot of times when when I want to shoot something, it's kind of about symmetry. That's one of the big factors is, how's it going to be laid out in front of and behind me? Because it is a full 360, right? The image, usually I'm holding the camera above my head, so it's taking a picture of everything around me at the same time. If I'm super close to one thing and really far away from the other, you might not see the other thing. You're going to be overwhelmed by the one. So this one in particular, I'm dead center in the middle of the bridge, right? So you're equidistant from either of the two big towers. It kind of gives you that kind of eyeballish feel to it, right? Like a cat eye, because you're in a walkway and it's framed with the walkway around it, with the girders. and then the city on either side, which is kind of what I was going for. Plus, it's a high vantage point, so it's giving you the skyline and the sunset at the same time. New York being as pointy and strange as it is, you're still going to get all those different nooks and crannies and looks and feels to it. And so similarly, you can see the Wonder Wheel piece is a very similar shot, right? I'm kind of in the middle of the walkway on the lead up to the Wonder Wheel. You can see about, being much closer to something large in it, and how it would be an imposing figure at the top, and there's not anything on the other side, right? So you can kind of see how that starts to come together. And I'm able to, at this point, I've been doing it enough where I can kind of tell how big something's going to be and how close I need to be to it in order to do it. Plus, it's digital, so I take them every few feet to make sure that I have the options, to get it the right size as I'm going through that.
So I was going to ask you too. These are all on metal, I believe.
Yes.
And I noticed when I've gone to the other art fair, and I believe, was it Superfine?
Yeah, I think they call it Super Fair.
Super Fair.
Yes, Super Fair.
From Find a Fair.
You're welcome, Alex. We got you.
So when I visited you at both those fairs, which were super fun and super cool, thank you for the invite, by the way. Most of your stuff, I believe, was on metal. And
Yes.
I wanted to know why you decided to choose for Printique the metal customization.
Because it's shiny. I like shiny. Well, so that's part of it. Really what it came down to is I was trying out different ways of showing the photos, and I'd been enamored with the metal prints that I had seen. And then this was one of them that I took, where when I got it back, the lamp looked like it was backlit. Mm-hmm. And I have another one that's of a parking sign. And that when I got that back, it really just looked backlit. And the parking sign is a neon sign out in the desert in California at night, so it's really kind of glowing. Yeah. And it gave off the light that I wanted it to, without having to do anything. So it's like, all right, well, that's kind of what I'm looking for. It's glowing. The metal truly enhances the photos from my point of view. When I print them on paper, I mean, I feel like they're nice, and some people love them. They just don't like the aesthetic of the metal. But for me, because I do shoot a lot of neon, I do shoot a lot of sunsets and sunrises and things that are meant to be dynamic, mm-hmm. and meant to be bright and glowy.
So we'll wrap it up here, but thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Sharing your work with us, coming to the lab and seeing it, come to life in process and in print. And thank you so much for printing with us all these years.
I appreciate it. It's getting to see behind the curtain has been a revelation.
Hopefully a good one.
No, I really enjoy the process. I'm a tech nerd. Makes me happy, especially knowing it's right down the street.
Yay, good.
Yeah.
Well, come anytime you want.
Well, thank you.
He's here.
Appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.